Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum Cik Lan. For the article review on the Islamic banking, I choose a topic of ribal and rebate free banking in Islamic. This article is about that, specifically about riba. So riba means at the act of taking advantage of those who need money to meet their basic necessity through the act of renting them money at a price called interest. RF banking and finance is a new way of living without having to carry the burden of an ever-accumulating debt through the unnecessary overuse of loan, credit cards, house loan, etc. RF banking pay close attention as to whom and what to finance. RF banks do not, for example, finance alcohol and gambling-related business such as liquor store or gambling casinos. It also does not finance environmentally irresponsible companies and business that are not fair to their employees. It is important to note that RF banking is cost competitive with conventional riba-based banks. The modern Islamic banking movement started in a humble way as a small community finance effort in Egypt in 1963 and grew gradually to become a small emerging finance industry in the Middle East in 1973. Today, with the increase in demand for oil and gas, the increase in energy price, many of the Gulf oil-producing countries have accumulated large amount of cash. Some of owner of this cash have decided to use Islamic bank to manage it. This has helped the RF banking industry become better established and high-growth industry. Islamic banking came to Europe in the early 1980s. Britain has an Islamic Bank of Britain (IBB). Many European municipalities and governments are dealing in Islamic banking product, mainly bonds, sukuk. In Asia, many countries have Islamic bank and all finance company. Malaysia has one of the pioneering and most sophisticated Islamic banking industry in the world. This article will be focusing on the Sharia compliant technique and method used in Islamic finance in the 20th century, detailing the most important aspect of the use of form, as in the case of Sharia compliant banking, versus the use of substance, as in the case of Sharia based RF banking. The contract and the way it is structured is in the Sharia compliant approach will be contrast with the Sharia based approach. Developing the major model for the effort to start Islamic banking and finance became very popular because it was very close to the conventional riba based financial model. The model is called the cost plus murabaha model, which includes the finance institution buys the item at the order of the ultimate buyer who want to finance it at a certain price. Then the financial institution sell the item back to the ultimate buyer at the original price plus a profit element. The profit element usually reflects the accumulated implied interest called profit that will occur over the period of financings. The model focuses on the fact that there is a buy-sell transaction and that interest is not charged as required by the law Sharia. A number of challenges occur. How should one calculate the profit element? The other one is, what will the Islamic finance company or the bank do with the one-step capital gain that result from reselling the item at this huge added profit, cumulative interest, which is added to the original price the bank paid to buy that item? The other one is, what will the Islamic finance company do with the delinquencies in payments? So this is all the challenge that the Islamic banking faced throughout 20th century. By the way, when the time have changed and they upgrade their ways of to meet the compliance, the Islamic banking come up with several way of doing the banking models. One of them is the cost plus murabaha models. This model of financing in Malaysia, it is called Al-Bai Bidhaman Ajail or BBA, was developed to finance transaction in a riba-free format. Murabaha cost plus, in its original Islamic connotation, is simply a particular type of sales, not a mode of financings. The only feature distinguishing it from other kind of sale is that the seller in Murabaha cost plus tells the buyer the cost incurred and the profit markup on the cost. They tell exactly what is the profit markup upfront. Okay, there are two essential points. It should never be overlooked that Originally, murabaha cost plus is not a mode of financing. Therefore, this instrument should be used as a transitory step, and its use should be restricted only to those cases where musharaka, joint ownership with diminishing equity, is not practicable. Number 2 is the murabaha cost plus transaction does not come into existence by merely replacing the word of interest by words of profit or markup. I will close this ribal topics in a way that it should be. The conclusion of this is that it is amazed to have gone through all this statement, claims, model and references, in addition to the hundreds of millions of dollars spent and the valuable energy invested to develop such models, to end up traveling a full circle. We read this in a court of law. The contract is to be handled as a regular riba-based contract. This is the same good old riba-based contract that many of the Sharia compliant effort made since 1970s were trying to change. There is another amazing observation having to do with the complete and deafening silence about two very basic aspects of RF financings. This is a marking to market principle and the community index action rules. Thank you very much.